So, the iPhone 7 versus the Galaxy S7 Edge. The two 7s, I guess, with one of the longest ongoing technology rivalries ever being the Galaxy S versus the iPhone. So how do they compare? Which one should you have? And more importantly, which one should you buy? Hi, I'm Ryan Thomas from Failtech, and today I have for you a pretty interesting comparison of the iPhone 7 from Apple and the Galaxy S7 Edge from Samsung. Let's jump straight into the price. You're going to be paying anywhere from $599 upwards in the UK for either of these devices brand new from High Street, which equates to a fairly hefty monthly contract price too, if you are that way inclined. These devices are top of their game with few rivalries like the Pixel from Google and Huawei's P9 to contend with. You're paying top dollar for these phones, so are you getting top quality experience? Well, with respect to build quality, both Apple and Samsung have you covered. The iPhone has its incredible rounded edges and flat back unibody aluminium design with slightly curved and seamless edge glass, which you'd expect. Its smooth lines and slightly less obtrusive antenna bands this time around certainly add to the premium feel. You're getting the classic Apple large chin and forehead though, but we were all kind of expecting that, weren't we? Samsung offers a more classy feeling and looking handset IMO. It too has the smooth lines and mostly unobtrusive antenna lines, but also with a touch more class. The sweeping and stylish curved pieces of glass front and back make this device feel like nothing I've ever felt before. The chin and forehead seem to be smaller and the size of the display seem infinite because of the curved nature. I feel like this is more classy, and I feel more classy holding one of these, and it feels something like you would pay the $629 asking price for. The screens are similarly impressive, with Apple opting for a fairly familiar 4.7-inch 750 by 1134 IPS display with gorgeous viewing angles and decent, if not underwhelming, 326 pixels per inch display. It leaves you with a fairly poor VR experience, although in all my years of being a techie and over the previous 10 to 11 months of me testing phones, I've never once wanted to try VR or have tried VR, so that didn't really make a difference to me, but maybe it will be different for you. The colours are great and the clarity is what you'd expect from a phone as expensive as this. You really don't need a more pixel dense display if you're doing anything less than VR though. Despite the iPhone's great display, the S7 Edge's 5.5-inch QHD Super AMOLED display absolutely takes the cake. The much higher pixel density of the panel may intrigue some, but for me it's all about that OLED technology. I personally think that every display used for consumer devices should be OLED. The efficiency and the quality it gives is just unparalleled. The clarity is incredible, with the panel pushing a 1440 by 2560 resolution through that gorgeously curved 5.5-inch window. Viewing angles are superb and outdoor usability is incredible, although the iPhone is better here, it gets much brighter for me. I also love the always on display feature that's really useful here, with the very useful edge display as well, which I use with the time at night. Two amazing displays then, but I personally go for the S7 Edge here every single time. The cameras have been difficult for me to test in the past. I'm always about taking photos nowadays, so I can really get comfy with the cameras and see their flaws and features. I'm a camera geek, so when a camera does impress me, I'll let you know about it. These two have been solid for me when using them indoors, outdoors. They share the same 12 megapixel resolution sensor, and they are both able to shoot UHD at 30 fps, 1080p at 120 fps, and 720p at 240 frames per second. They both have optical image stabilization, which for the iPhone is a huge improvement over the previous smaller iPhones, where you had to buy the Plus model to get OIS. Good move, Apple. They both shoot great photos and I'm really rather impressed. I think they're both incredible and I'd be hard pressed to pick one. The front facing cameras are a little different, with the iPhone 7 sporting a larger 7 megapixel sensor but being more of a tele lens compared to the S7 Edge's smaller 5 megapixel sensor but with a much wider lens. It's mainly down to how many people you want to get in the photo, but I personally prefer the smaller but wider selfies you can get with the S7 Edge. You're getting more clarity with the iPhone, but then again, that's your preference. These two phones are super speedy, and rightly so if you're to dish out that kind of money. You're getting either an 8-core Exynos 8890 CPU, which I have here, or the quad-core Snapdragon 820 CPU in the S7 Edge, along with 4GB of RAM, and it's a great experience. It's super quick, and I've had a few hiccups. Its many cores mean you can multitask without a problem, and with that 4GB of RAM, it's even made easier. The iPhone 7, on the other hand, is a whole other monster. Now, the Apple quad-core A10 chip with 2GB of RAM may sound fairly mediocre at best to you spec freaks, but you really need to hold one of these bad boys in your hand to get a real idea. This phone is rapid. It's destroying lots of other phones and benchmarks. It's not the fastest, but it's destroying pretty much all of them at the moment, and it shows. I've never had a faster or more fluid experience than this one. Only the 821 in the Pixel comes close to this, and I'd say maybe they were parallel, but nah. I've never once had a hiccup with this, not a freeze, utter perfection in terms of my use. Both of these phones give you a great everyday experience and a great fantastic gaming experience too. I personally say I'd take the iPhone 7 for its performance here. Fingerprint scanners are now a staple in smartphones worldwide, let alone high-end ones. We have two super fast scanners here, with the iPhone 7 maybe pulling out slightly. I think that I prefer the iPhone's usability here, and I think it's slightly faster. The animation on the S7 Edge is just a bit annoying to have to wait for. The S7 Edge is super quick too, but just not quite as rapid. They're both great and are located on the front of the device as opposed to the back, which is more popular with Huawei phones and Chinese phones. Battery life hands down is one of the most important things. I love how the S7 Edge will last me a full day, even with scrolling through thousands of memes on Imgur or playing games. But the iPhone 7 again runs away with this one. You're getting all day usage, no problem. They both charge fairly quickly, though the S7 is much faster. They have different sized batteries, and it will actually shock you to hear that you're getting a 3600 mAh battery on the S7 Edge, but only a 1960 mAh battery in the iPhone. Yet the iPhone beats the S7 Edge? Yeah, that leads me really smoothly onto software here, because the software and hardware experience is really what makes the iPhone 7 the phone that it is for me. You're getting ludicrous speed and battery life from something which on paper is really not impressive, even for a mid-range device, let alone a company's flagship. The efficiency means the phone really does feel like it's been made for the software and not the other way around. On the contrary, Samsung's version of Android gives a lot more features and a lot of cool features as well, and enables you to do more, but it just doesn't feel quite as seamless. Now, of course, you're getting 3D touch on the iPhone, which gives an almost right-click feature to the phone, as well as a pair of stereo front-firing speakers, or maybe not. The call speaker acts as a secondary speaker to the bottom-firing affair, and you're also getting that button without a button taptic home button thing, which isn't a button, but it is a button kind of button, as well as IP67 water resistance. For the S7 Edge, you're getting IP68 water resistance, wireless charging, NFC, quick charge 2.0, micro SD card slot, and even a headphone jack if you wanted one of those. So, the important decision, which do you buy? If you want heaps of features and a more classy feeling IMO, go for the S7 Edge. If you want a more seamless interface and slightly smaller footprint, go for the iPhone 7. I personally prefer the S7 Edge, but maybe that's just down to my love of glass phones. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed, leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy it, and subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you on Monday. Have a great weekend, guys, and hopefully I've helped you in your decision to buy one of these phones. Peace.